Welcome to Expansion Lab, the expansion of love as I evolve. Let's learn together a holistic approach about how to connect mind, body, and spirit. Welcome to Expansion Lab. Today we have a super amazing guest and a really good topic. One of the first topics for Expansion Lab because, as you may know, we have a food truck, Love as I Evolve, and a lot of you come to the food truck, and one of the first thing I hear always, no matter what, is the gluten-free, is a vegan. So, but talking about gluten, I thought it was so important and so special to have one of our first shows about gluten. And for that, we have Karol Cadenas, an integrative nutritional health coach, a really good friend, a paisana, Venezolana from my heart to her. I'm so thankful for you to be here, Karol. This show is going to be in English just because most of our customers are English speakers, but we can do Spanish too, and we can do some Spanglish. People will be great. They will love that. We have also some Spanish speakers, customers. So thank you, Karol. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for the invitation. And I love the name. First of all, like Expand Lab, like I love it. And I love the invitation, and it was like super spontaneous, and like I feel amazed. So like being here with you from our La Victoria town.
Yes. Look, me pongo roja. I get all like, it's so cool. It's so cool. I was thinking like, why are we going to do this show in English? We are más venezolanas que la arepa, but it is, so for anyone that doesn't know, Expansion Lab comes expansion to expand, as Karol was saying, and lab comes from Love as I Evolve. I don't know if you guys can see the sign. We're still working in the setup for the podcast, but so it's to expand the brand of Love as I Evolve, that is like health. You are what you eat. And but beyond that, I think it's like a holistic approach. And Karol is a perfect guest because she's a holistic coach.
Yes.
So we're going to talk about gluten, but Karol, what is holistic?
Holistic, it comprehends like the whole, right? It's everything. And we're used to see our body like conventional medicine is like if you have something on your eyes, you go to the eye doctor. And if it's something in your gut under your digestive system, then you go to a different doctor. And holistic is more like seeing the body as a complex system where everything, all the parts are interconnected. And even if you have headache, it may be something completely different related to your head. And also holistic, one of the things that I love about holistic medicine and holistic approach is the fact that it's like involves not just the body as your physical and biological tool, but it involves like mental body, your energetic body, like your spiritual body, and your emotions. So it's like your everything, right? It's like your.
It could be like mind, body, and spirit.
Yes, mind, body, and spirit. So that's the part of holistic. It's like a whole.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
And one of the things about that, the name of the podcast that I love is like, to me, it's like going to the edge, right? It's like we expand when we're at the edge of the things. It's like, okay, the unknown, the things that we don't know, and we're there. And that's the moment of expansion. So
yes.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, like a lot of people don't want to talk about it or don't know. They just hear, like, let's say about this gluten, that is the topic for today. A lot of people talk about gluten, but they don't really know or understand what's gluten. And that's why I thought it was very important. But there are so many other topics, as you say, from mind, body, and spirit. There is a lot of like, you can see like a flourish in all these subjects, like astrology. There is astrology everywhere today.
Yes, totally. Yeah.
And some people get overwhelmed. I love it. So topics like that, a lot of alternative, a lot of things that we can learn. And I think that there are tools for us to kind of enrich and to do search, like when we do search for ourselves, like, you know, like who we are, why are we here? And so I feel like all of those tools help us understand better who we are and why are we here. What's our
Totally.
purpose?
I
Like,
agree. Yeah.
so that's why I did came out with this expansion lab. I was like, I need to do something that makes more sense. I was tired of politics and news and blah blah blah. And I was like, I think that the community in general is needing this. And obviously, there are people like you that have been doing this for so long and teaching and supporting the community and let people knowing, like, I know you do practice and you do detox programs and a lot of cool stuff that every time I see it, I'm like, oh my gosh, Karol, I want to go. I went to Miami. Karol is in Miami. I went to Miami. I'm like, Karol, what's happening this weekend?
Yes.
I need to go to one of your classes. She's like, there's nothing going on. I'm like, no way, I need it. Please make it happen.
Yeah.
She's
It
always
will
so
happen.
involved. Oh, I love it. I am going to go for the next one. I don't know what it's going to be, but
Yes.
definitely is so cool. It's so cool to have you. So, Karol, what is gluten?
Well, this is the common question that you mentioned. It's alive and the food truck. And gluten is just a protein that is present in wheat. And it's not like the protein as a macronutrient, but it's a specific protein that it doesn't have the full chain of amino acids, and it's part of the wheat. And what happened with gluten and that protein is that it's a protein that is like, let's say it is difficult to digest for the organism. And it's a protein that has been changing over the time. And because of different things, the sources, right? The genetics, like it's been changing like historically. And nowadays it's very difficult for us to process to digest that protein. It's like the body, it's difficult for the body to recognize that as a natural ingredient.
Where does it usually it's gluten found? And I know you said
Nowadays,
mention wheat, but
everywhere,
is
like
there
yeah, like of like wheat, oats, centeno, spelt, all of these like agglutinantes, like
uh-huh.
bread or like bread, bakery, sauce nowadays, like drinks, soy sauce, which people is like, oh, soy sauce has gluten. I was like, yes, there's gluten in some soy sauce. So nowadays it's present in a lot of processed food because it works also as a multiplier. And then it makes the bread, for example, to look that appearance
Beautiful.
of that, yeah, beautiful and big and esponjoso. Como se
See,
dice? Esponjoso, like
like a spongy, I don't know,
yeah,
like
like
big.
esponjoso, big,
Uh-huh.
and all of these textures that we love, right?
Yes.
And like pizza, all of that, and makes things to use less products like the wheat, real wheat, and now wheat contains more gluten. So it's easy to have gluten and different things because they use it as this component, cheap component in our food to make ultra production and macro production.
To me, it was easy to find gluten and to understand it because of the pizza. It's so easy, but like, if you go and eat a pizza that is not gluten free, it's going to be like, as you say, like a spongy and like
Flat,
beautiful.
yes,
Yes, it's this pizza that is like, oh my gosh, you want to eat it. But
yeah,
then if you eat the pizza, it's gluten free. So the bread is like falling apart. It
yes,
doesn't keep together.
yes,
It's like, it's like the piece of bread, like the gluten-free bread and versus the bread that has gluten. So you get that like a regular bread, like you see this
yes,
loaf of bread versus the gluten-free is also falling apart.
yeah.
And I think that you can recognize that, right? I didn't know about gluten until probably I got the food truck. Maybe I heard like, blah, blah, but I never did my homework or my research about gluten.
There's a book actually
Mhm.
called The Wheat Belly from Dr. William Davis. It was like very famous book, and his approach is more like if you avoid gluten, even if you're a healthy person, that you can digest gluten. Because if you don't have any special condition as allergies or a celiac disease, you can digest gluten. Like our body is created to digest with. right? Wheat, it's a millenary grain
Mhm.
from like so many cultures, and bread, it was used as actually as a spiritual symbolism, right? And different cultures. It's like if I was going to visit you, oh, like bread as a, like
You bring
showing
bread.
my appreciation for you, or as a symbolism of abundance. And our body is, it has the capacity and the capability and the conditions to digest this wheat. But it's like now that the wheat is not wheat and wheat and it's super modified, like engineering, genetics, and hybrid practices, it's created what we call now the modern wheat. It's like another type of wheat with more gluten, would contain more gluten.
Yes, it makes sense. When we see any documentary about food or anything that they do in the farms to, I don't know, the Monsantos or whatever they are, no? All these documentaries, they tell you about how things get mutated because of the seed. So I don't particularly know about how they change the gluten, but it does make sense what you're saying. You already told me where you can find them. What's the difference between gluten sensitivity and gluten intolerance and the celiac disease?
Yes, the celiac disease is a disease that is like your body creates. It could be like wheat and gluten. It can be dangerous for your body. It's like your body recognizes as a dangerous ingredient. So what it does is like you cannot metabolize it, you cannot digest it, and then in your intestines it creates like corrosion on your intestines, and then that can manifest symptoms as like like people who usually like vomiting, headaches, fatigue, um,
Diarrhea.
diarrhea. Yes, like different. That's the autoimmune disease. It's like your own body trying to protect you, create this corrosion in your intestine, and then all of these symptoms. And the allergy, you said, and
Yes,
the
the celiac
oh,
disease.
the celiac disease and the sensitivity, which you don't have to have a celiac disease, but you can be sensitive to gluten, which a lot of people are more in this side, but mostly because gluten is in most of the ultra processed food. So you feel sensitive if you go to a place and you eat a hamburger, a soda, a Caesar salad with ranch with gluten, and then you are going to have symptoms in your body.
You're going to feel bloated.
So you are going to be blood. You can feel sensitive about it. And also I call like the mental sensitivity, which is this narrative that gluten is bad. All people around me doesn't eat gluten because they may have a disease or they may not, but then I hear that it's bad for my body, it's bad for my health. So then it's my mental sensitivity, and I decided to not eat gluten, but because of a narrative, but not because I'm experiencing in particular something.
It's a psychological effect more than actually a biological one, right?
Yeah. And actually people who said, okay, I'd rather not to eat gluten because, yeah, I don't want to feel like inflammatory in my body, or I heard it's bad and I just rather to say, okay, no, I don't, I won't.
I feel bloated. Like whenever I eat, like let's say I go and I eat a burger, I'm like, eh. But it's what you said, and it's like it depends how conscious you are about what you eat, right? About what you, who you are and what you do with that, right? Like if you eat food or if you hear something or you see something that's just not, it's gonna cause something on you.
I like this, the 3C, and it is quantity, well, in Spanish as cantidad, calidad, y contexto, but it will be quantity, quality, and context. So it won't be 3Cs in English.
I love it. I never heard about it. So tell me more about that.
Yeah, it's like cantidad, quantity is like if your regular meals contain like a high quantity of gluten, which is mostly ultra processed food, you are eating gluten, like imagine breakfast, I don't know, like croissant. I don't want to like say, it's not that croissant is bad, but it's like if you're eating that, then in lunch you're eating a hamburger and something, and then at dinner you're eating a pizza, and then the quantity of gluten you are having, you are ingesting like every day is high. Your body is not capable of that, and especially with this modern wheat that we are talking, right? It's it's a hybrid, it's genetically modified. So your body doesn't have the capacity to process that modification because it's not created by the earth, it's created by the man. And your body is like trying to understand how to digest that. And then like, I don't know how to digest it, so I'm going to put it on the side in the meantime, right? And then that's why like the belly fat, because we're started like acumulando la grasa, like in this area specifically, while our body trying to understand like this, how I do process this in my body. And then the quality, now there's another sources of gluten. I personally eat gluten. It's not in my main diet ingredient, but I like to make like a sandwich. I like to make like homemade hamburgers. That's why the popularity of the sourdough bread now,
Uh-huh.
because
Why?
it's fermented. So
Okay.
it's a gluten that it could be more easily to digest because it's been fermented by microorganism, the yeast goes through a fermentation process. So this fermentation process helps to digest and to decompose the protein, which is the gluten on the wheat, and then it's easy for you to digest.
That's
So there's
amazing. I didn't
options.
know that.
There's like pizza, like sourdough bread, pizza with masa madre. There's different options like muffins, a lot of options. So it's an option if you want to have your gluten and like have a regular,
Like better, like a more
yes,
healthy
exactly.
way, I guess.
Yeah, in a more healthy way. And then the context is, to me, if you have this idea on your mind as like gluten is bad, like as a something negative, like it does something to my body, right? It harms my body, is bad. And then if you eat something, your brain doesn't exactly know the difference between fiction and reality. So in your mind, it's like gluten is bad. This is going to be bad for my body. I got to feel bloated after this, and you start imagining everything before the hamburger, before the pizza. Your brain is
You're
going
gonna
to
be
get,
sick.
yes, your brain is going to create the evidence that what you're thinking is true, and then you are going to have the symptoms, and that this principle works with everything. But then you are going to experience the symptoms. If we do, for the people who are listening, if we do a little experiment now, and I tell you, think on something that you crave, that you want, that you like. I don't know, an ice cream, an acai bowl from the food truck, right? Like, you start like salivating. Maybe in 30 minutes, you are going to start producing your like gastric juices. And it doesn't mean you are going to eat it, but your brain doesn't have the distinction and start creating a process in your body. So that's the context, right? That I call as, first of all, the narrative you have with everything, right? Food out, like the food you eat, and we're talking about gluten, and also what's happening when you're eating. What is happening? What is happening after? Like, how is your digestive and your digestive process? What are you doing after? Like your stress level? You're eating like this and like looking at the I don't know, phone and eating, doing three things at the time and eating, and then your body is not going to have the same response in terms of digestion, in terms of the absorption
Absorption. Uh-huh.
of the nutrients,
Absorción.
absorción de los nutrientes, It is not, right, because your body's trying to do like 20 things at a time, and then that's part of the context. So I think like these three things are very
It gave
clear.
us a lot of context. You gave
Yes,
us a lot of
for-
information.
yes.
That's good. So I love that, Carol. For what you're saying, is it important there? Um, when we eat, should we select like a time to eat, like in peace, in a good place? Like, um, we shouldn't eat all distracted or like you said, right? Like in the context part, when you don't just sit and eat and focus and like give the time to yourself to just eat. Is that something important? I know it
It's
has nothing to do with with
No, and
gluten,
it
but
has. And it
I,
has. Yeah. To me, it's very important. And it's not always possible, right? And we are all busy and we have things to do and kids. And sometimes, yes. But at least if you're doing 3 meals a day, if you're, or a week, that you can really create a space, even as like, as the moment to perceive and to see what you're eating. Sometimes we're eating, we're not even looking what we're eating. We're distracted, and it's like it's very important. It's like it gives to your body like the nourishment. It's like really even like feeling the gratitude for what you're eating, and like that moment of taking for yourself and just yeah, like the textures, the
I love
colors
it.
of what you're eating. And it's like it's really important, and your body is going to have a different response.
I love that part. What you're saying, I think is very important, and people take it for granted. They don't. Some people, as you say, they're busy. We have kids. Our kids are like Miranda. My kid is like crazy right now. She eats with the phone. I started this year to I took away the phone, so no more phone. I told him Monday through Friday, but now we're on the weekends, and the weekends you cannot watch the phone either. But it is important, I think, and it's important for us as parents and as humans. No, everybody has to be parents that is listening, but to just take the space and to nourish, as you said. I am a huge believer that you are what you eat. It's just, I don't know why, but that's the first thing that came to my mind when I started the food truck, when I started making the acai bowls. And these acai bowls look so beautiful. And of course, it's a good selling point because oh, you eat an acai with a flower. Oh, it's so exotic, so beautiful. But it's also good. It's good for you. It's like a good, the food that you're eating, it nourishes your soul, as you said, your body. It's like, it's organic. It's everything together because it's beautiful, but it's good food. And then I think it helps your digestion. And I'm a big believer for the acai. And that's why I started with the acai. Like I mean, we're Venezuelans, so we have like the tropical weather. Well, right now you're in Miami, so you still have it. But I moved to LA where it was super dry. You moved to LA too, by the
Yeah,
way. You
I
used to live
live
in
in
California. I remember, Carol.
Mexico.
And so you know how dry it is. And I got there and I was like, my skin was all weird, dry. And I started doing promotions because I didn't have papers. That's the truth. And I started doing promotions because it was what was easy. And we got contacted by somebody from Brazil. And he was the owner of one of these companies that make acai. And he would ship the package of acai to my house, and I would do acai promotions in Whole Foods, and I would blend the acai for people and showcase the acai. And I was like, this is incredible. I started eating acai and I didn't need any more cream in my face. I'm like, this is a little crazy.
Oh,
This is
that's
like,
amazing. Yeah, amazing.
yes.
Yeah.
So I don't know how we got to this part, but the reason why I did the acai was that.
Because yeah, the importance of like eating
Oh,
something
the benefit of the
with all
food,
of
right?
the senses, yeah,
Yes.
the nutritional value, but the values in other aspects, right?
Yes, exactly. So I was like, this is so good. This is like amazing. But back then I didn't have how to start the business or nothing, whatever. But then, well, time came, and so now I am able to do my food truck. And I do believe truly in the acai power. Just is, I eat acai and my skin is like, oh my gosh, it's so perfect. It's so beautiful. So yes, we are what we
Acai
eat.
power, totally. Yeah,
Acai power,
like
that should
that
be called.
phrase. Yes,
Yes.
acai power.
Uh, it's interesting. I was looking for names for the podcast, and acai power was one. But what would it be like, imagine a podcast as a
Yeah.
it will be a little crazy. But anyway, we'll stay with expansion. So gluten, why do we get so distracted in the conversation? But it's fine. It's a nice chat. I love it. I love talking to you, Karol.
Love it.
You
Yeah.
told me about the CCC, the three C's, right? We talk about how important it is to just eat and take the time to eat and to nourish your body because it's important. What is the difference like between being if you have a gluten allergy or if you're gluten sensitive, which is also important. How does gluten affect the digestion and gut health?
Okay, as we mentioned, all of these high gluten, ultra processed food affects our digestion in all
Because
terms.
the inflammation.
It creates inflammation in the body. We're not having an actual nutritional level in absorption of the nutrients in our body. It's mostly, it's not, I won't say it's not real food, but most of this ultra processed food doesn't have like the real nutrients that we really need. And it doesn't mean that if we're eating, we're absorbing what we are eating. So it's two different things, and that it creates like weakness in our body. It could affect our immune system because we're not having the right nutrients, we're not having the minerals, we're not having the vitamins, and we're like creating more effort in our body, like we're creating like a stress, like a chronic stress, which is one of the things of the autoimmune disease in our body, because our body is trying to do the best and a huge effort to digest all of this food that is like, what the heck, right?
It's taking all the energy on that.
Yes,
Correct.
it's taking all the energy trying to see, okay, what is this? The absorption, how we digest this. It takes more of the natural, regular digestive process. And the sensitivity, right? You mentioned about the
Uh-huh.
sensitivity.
How can we know if we are sensitive or just
Yeah.
is an allergy?
We allergy, it's very bad. We can develop any allergy to seashells, or it could be to any other food that is very, and it's an allergy. You can also through this like allergy tests that they do through the skin. I don't love this test. I have my controversies about it because, of course, if you put in your skin, you're going to have a reaction. So I'm not always super fan of this test, but it's a guide, and you can have, okay, there's a big reaction or no. You can know that through that a test, or if you have an allergy, you will know it because you are not going to be able to breathe. It's different having a wheat allergy than having a sensitivity or that having a celiac disease. And the sensitivity you will notice if you're eating gluten, and then you will have like headache, or as you said, you feel bloated after, even with sleeping, right, disorders, it can interfere on that. Skin, right, like our skin, you start seeing even
Like a
sometimes
rash?
rash. Even if it's not allergy, you can have like different symptoms on your skin, feeling bloated, mood swings. Is like that's why what gluten in some cases of autism, even if the person it doesn't have sensitivities or they take out of the diet the gluten, it can be tricky in person that have like another condition, and then adding gluten to the diet. And the best way to eat actually is like, yeah, if you have a sensitivity to something, is like if you think on things without gluten, it's like vegetables, potato, yuca, all kind of fruits, right? And then there's like meats, eggs, all of that. Like I won't say real food because the other one, like
Is
food
also
is
right.
food, right? It's like food
Right.
is food. But there's this difference, and then you can notice you can have, for example, I eat gluten, and sometimes I can develop a sensitivity, and I feel bloated after. And I notice if I'm going to eat a pizza, and then if I eat a pizza and I eat a salad without this heavy dressing or something, it's like I'm fine. You are creating a balance on your food, right? You are creating balance on your plate. and then you won't have any problem digesting the gluten and digesting the food. And I always like to tell my clients, and when we talk, and likes to do a letter for the gluten. It's like, it's not you, it's me. And like, declare gluten innocent also, right? It's like, it's not gluten, it's the context, it's the quantity. It's like, am I abusing? It's like, it's not you that I'm harming you. It's like, am I abusing of you? And am I like, right? Like, not being
I'm the one that is making the
conscious.
wrong decision.
Exactly. Am I one doing the wrong, making the wrong decision? Am I not like conscious with this? Am I like, it's declaring innocence. And that's also take away this heaviness on the,
The evilness of the gluten.
yes, the evilness, the heaviness on the food, and not just on the gluten. It will help, like, if we see as food as that, and sometimes we just take the heaviness and says like, okay, and your body will recognize that also. And sometimes, what about if you go out or and you eat a pizza and you enjoy and you're with your partner or with you're with friends and you feel amazing after that, you're sharing a moment, you don't have that in your mind that it's going to be bad, it's going to be this, it's going to all blah blah blah, and you just enjoy it, your body is relaxed, so you are going to digest better your response. So it's a balance at the
It's
end.
a balance, but as you're saying, it sounds so beautiful. It sounds so inspiring. Like I'm like now more than ever, I want to think about my food like a balancing, like what's my diet, what I'm eating today, what am I gonna do with this? Like where's that food coming? Because at the end of the story, that food comes to your body. And so I think that we need to, as you said, like gratitude, honor your food and respect and love it, right? Because it's gonna become part of you. It's like it's gonna give you something and in exchange, like you're gonna eat it, but it's for you. So it's inspiring to hear you talking, Karol. Can you tell us a little bit more about your programs? I know we've been connected for like a little bit more than half an hour, and so I just want to, well, obviously, if you have any more to talk about gluten, I think that we should do more shows because I'm
Sure.
curious about everything else that you're talking. Way more than I thought, honestly. Thank you. I want to know about your programs. People that are listening, that are in Miami or that are interested in your detox programs, we should do a show about detox. Why is detox so also? Because if you think about
Yes.
gluten, well, that's one. But what
And
about
now, what
detox?
about detox?
Everybody want to do a detox show, like a
Yes,
detox program. Oh no, I'm not doing this because I'm doing detox.
I'm
You,
doing
you talk to my mom, and she's like, "Oh no, I'm doing detox," and I'm like, "Excuse me."
totally.
Everybody's doing detox. What's up with that? I mean, we'll do a show, but can you tell us a little bit briefly about these
Yes, yes.
programs that you have?
That's one of the, I created a program called Experiencia Detox, and it's the approach is based on this holistic thing that we were talking and about everything. And the program, it's based on food, mainly, but I will say we work in different aspects of our life, right? And it's like detox your thoughts, detox your voice, detox your pantry. So we go, it's a month, the program, and we have a protocol. Like at the beginning of the program, there's like conditioning the body and like getting ready for the whole detox and our like mindset, and like also what means detox to me. Like it means that I'm like have something bad with me, or it means that I want to add something to my body or to do like elimination, which is something also good for people who doesn't know. I don't know if I'm allergic to gluten or if I have sensitivities, or if even I have like a celiac disease. So elimination diet is one of the things that we combine a little bit with the detox, and it helps you to know. So you start eliminating all of the heavy gluten food and you start adding them slowly, and you start, it's an observation
It's
process.
like descartando.
Yes, you start a process of observation with your body. You have a diary, you have a journal, you register the reactions in your body, how you feel about it, and you start adding slowly one or two elements per foods nutrients per week, and you start looking the reaction of your body. So we do that a little bit with the detox program, but it's mind, body, spirit. We have a program. It's like phase 1, phase 2, and phase 2. It's 1 week each, and it has different elements. It's 1 week we do juices. It's not just all juices, but we eat a lot. But it contains different elements. The skincare. We do practice meditations during the program. We do practice different like voice practices, right? It's like food. This is one of the part of our body. Like foods goes through our right. This is the first thing to go into our digestive system, and sometimes like we cannot even digest because we have things that we don't say, that we don't express ourselves, and it's like this here, like I cannot swallow properly the food. And how these things that it may sounds like it doesn't make sense.
It sounds amazing to me.
But this holistic is like the whole thing, like my mindset when I'm eating, and all of these, like we are exposed to so many toxins nowadays, like microplastics, like heavy metals, everything. So detox is a process, especially I like on this like spring season, that your body start like going out of hibernation mood. And we're going to start one in February 21, and we do it online. And it's a group, it's a nice community also that we all share, and we're sharing constantly our experiences. We have exercise, we have experiments. So it's a very beautiful program.
It sounds amazing. So it's online. That is so important. Yeah. We are here in Phoenix. Obviously, this is going to be online too. But people that are hearing right now, if they are not in Miami, they can still do the program because you do it online, correct?
Yes, I do it online. I do one-on-one consultations here in Miami. But this program, I do it online. You can do it at your own pace. We're connected to a group in a community, and it's all you with you. And yeah, I'm here, I'm there always, but in the digital aspect.
That's amazing. We gotta all be in that digital aspect because that's what apparently that's where everything is leading to, right?
Now, yes.
Well, Karol, thank you so much. Anything else you want to add? I love it. This, like the food, it nourished my soul. Honestly, it's
yeah,
it was beautiful.
I'm super passionate about it. Yeah, like all of this, like food, like your food truck. I love it. It's been. I have always wanted to have a food truck.
You have? Well, it's a lot of work. Let me tell you. It's a little crazy. I had to record some videos, right, for the trailer for the podcast. And then I was recording myself driving, and I'm like, I'm una camionera, literalmente. Like in the truck, it's a lot of work. People see the beauty of it, but it's a lot. Especially in Phoenix.
I see the beauty of it.
Thank goodness. See the beauty. And I want everyone to see the beauty, but it's a lot of work. I have to do another show about food truck and how to get a food truck, because there are ways actually to get a food truck, and you can modify the food truck, and it's not that expensive.
That would be great. I'll
tell you when we do that show. It's cool. No, it is interesting because there are a lot of people that want to know more about the food truck business and how to get a food truck. Because if you go right now online, you get a food truck for $80,000, $90,000. That was not the price of my food truck. I couldn't afford it. You get like a much cheaper truck. I got it from the government, and then I modify it. And it's totally fine. You can do that. And there are ways, it depends where you are, right? But well, that will be another show. For now, I'll give the information about you, Karol. Again, thank you. Karol Cadenas, she is a holistic nutritional coach. She gave us a lot of love and information today. Thank you, Karol.
Thank you so
And I will see you soon because we're going to do another show about your detox and what is
Yes,
detox.
you are more than welcome here in Miami. We can do things when you come.
Thank you. Please let me know when you're going to do this like group meetings that are so cool that I'm like, what am I doing here in Phoenix?
Also
I
for
need to
the
go there.
community who is listening, I will be super happy also to bring to Phoenix one of the Right of the Womb, one of the women's circle,
Oh my
or
gosh.
some like community event that we can meet and that we can share and that we can talk and
I love it. Like when you do it.
So I leave this here, the invitation open, and I'm like more than open and like, yes.
Oh my.
It's
Thank you,
yes.
Karol. This is amazing. This is a good idea. We're going to create a community here. Like I need it for my soul. I want it. And you coming here, that would be amazing. That would be one of the first things. So thank you, Karol. We'll keep connected. We'll bring Karol to Phoenix. We'll go to Miami and we'll do the detox show. Okay.